Rooster! Rooster! Come to South Dakota, they said.
It'd be fun, they say.
Yeah. Tons of roosters. It's just a remarkable thing to have these folks in town be proactive about why the economy of the town turned south and get involved in a way that wasn't looking for a handout.
We put 4,000 acres on the ground just in Aberdeen alone. Private land open to public hunting, and the birds are the result. Actually, the final result are the hunters that come after those birds.
If you hunt, you may have noticed that no state solicits non-resident hunters like South Dakota. Emails, billboards, ads, and magazines tell you to get to South Dakota. Then they ask, when are you coming back? And they've been advertising pheasants to out-of-state hunters since before I was born. I've got a lot of questions as to how this can work. This week, my good friend Luke Thorkildsen of Weatherby.
That was great shooting. I forgot about the second trigger.
And my dog Snort and I head to Aberdeen, South Dakota to see pheasantomics firsthand. Per capita, there might be an airport that brings in more guns in a week, but Aberdeen is the only place you'll get a pheasant sandwich while you pick up your gun.
Well, the plane just landed. What's your program now?
My program is to blow this thing up. Those hunters are gonna come through the door. We're probably gonna set off an alarm or two. That'll be cool. And we're gonna hand them visitor bags, and we're gonna welcome them to Aberdeen, and they're gonna take the fields tomorrow. We're gonna go bust some roosters.
Awesome.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Pheasant sandwich. Told you we'd set off some alarms. While you're waiting for your luggage, we also have pheasant sandwiches here. Please take one or two of those with you. We don't bring out the luggage until those are gone. No, I'm serious. No, I'm just kidding.
How long have you been doing this, Casey?
17 years. 17 years solid. And I remember every day. I remember every day and every face. I do. As they come through the door, I remember them all. And so it's nice to see them carrying on the tradition of coming to Aberdeen.
And that tradition of coming to Aberdeen is kind of like in that pheasant sandwich, right?
It is, yeah. That pheasant sandwich means a lot to us. The gals with the World War II pheasant canteen who served those pheasant sandwiches to the troops during World War II. I mean, they'd serve 500 to 1,500 sandwiches a day. They've been doing it for 75 years. And we picked it up 5 years ago and ran with it. So it's been going strong for 80 years, whether pheasant sandwiches are getting served to the troops that come through on the trains during World War II, during the war effort, to the pheasant hunters and the visitors that are traveling through the airport today.
Very tasty.
Solid.
Yeah. What do hunters mean to Aberdeen?
Hunters carry dollars. You know, I mean, that means a lot to the community. When dollars come into the community, they multiply 3 to 7 times. What we started here in Aberdeen, the Aberdeen Pheasant Coalition, and that's an effort on behalf of banks, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the hotels, the sporting goods stores, the restaurants, and we all got together and pooled some money together to put 4,000 acres on the ground just in Aberdeen alone. Private land open to public hunting. 4,000 acres. Most places are losing acreage and we're putting it back in the ground. But we're not waiting for somebody else to do it for us. We're taking that effort, we're putting those acres in the ground, and the birds are the result. Actually, the final result are the hunters that come after those birds.
You'll often hear opening weekend of pheasant season referred to as the South Dakota Super Bowl, Like the Super Bowl, there is a pre-game energy around town. Hunters, business owners, and friends reunited to celebrate opening weekend.
All right, count of three, rooster. 1, 2, 3. They can do better. That was a warm up.
It's the Rooster Eve, right?
Right.
Tomorrow is opening day,
Yeah.
Aberdeen, South Dakota. I think most people are having a lot of fun because the season doesn't start until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
What is the deal with that?
Traditionally, it was noon, and just a few years ago, we moved it to 10 a.m. But it's really a social thing. The theory is that it was to give farmers a chance to do their chores before hunters showed up at their farm to hunt. But you know what it does is it gives the hunters a chance to spend time in our community, you know, spend money in our community, have fun, and not worry about getting out there at sunrise.
Play these 6 games. Okay, put your name and phone number here.
With this crowd, how many people do you think are here because of that extra public land access that the coalition provides?
Yeah, I would say a good 50-60% of the people that come to Aberdeen is just because of that public land, especially that Aberdeen Pheasant Coalition land.
So if you're not stalking any birds on public land, what's the secret to be able to have this many dedicated hunters here already? Plus the city advertising to hunters all over the world, really, to come here and continue to hunt. How do you sustain that many hunters here every year?
We got to have the birds. I mean, you can't do it without the birds. The habitat, lots of good grass, lots of good cover, and then you just have to have that community that really, you know, embraces all of that together and gets behind it.
You're still engaged on the paddle wheel.
It's opening day, and for our 10 a.m. start, we're cheating by going to the family property of Matt Morlock, who is like the habitat king of Pheasants Forever. He's been rehabbing a cattle grazing and crop operation into a cattle grazing and habitat operation.
What habitat work have you been doing out here?
We're on year 1 of a new process, and so it's early successional habitat, which is wide open underneath so their chicks can move around, and like I said, it's broadleaf based, so there's a lot of insects this year in it and that kind of stuff. So it's just prime pheasant habitat.
And how many birds should we get out of the first tree row?
I don't know. I don't want to jinx this.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Good girl. Pretty happy dog right here.
Upland birds rely heavily on camouflage, feathers, and thick cover. Hunters often walk right by their quarry, which is why a good all-around bird dog can be the key to success. The notorious DOG, Snort, is as excited for opening day as anyone.
Way better for dogs to work into the wind, the scent's coming to them. So what Snort's doing is she's getting out ahead and catching the wind and coming back and working back to us. It's a lot more work, but she's trying to maximize her odds just like we are. Rooster!
Nice shot.
Shot, Ryan! Dead. Snort. Good girl. Nice young bird. He's fully plumed, which is really pretty, but a pretty short tail and little baby spurs. So young bird, but awesome bird. Okay, let's go find another. Always better when it's your dog. There's your dog, good girl. She's very birdy again here. Head, I think.
It's illegal to shoot hens, which is critical for pheasant populations. But Luke likes to help a few roosters out too.
Seriously, Luke, I don't... Really on something. Moving.
Finally connected on one. Pretty long tail. Man, they're beautiful birds.
Oh,
Nice shot.
find it. Come here, find it.
Atta girl.
Good
Yeah.
girl, Snort. Hey, that was sporty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a special day.
Heck yeah.
Get the cleaning and get the eating.
And eating.
And eating, for sure.
The eating part. That's how we do it.
Well done.
Let's have a beer. Now that we've seen what one summer of habitat has produced at Matt's ranch, I'm curious to know what a full-scale farmer thinks of the Aberdeen Pheasant Coalition. So I'm here to speak with fourth-generation family rancher, pheasant hunter, and guide Eric Johansson to get his insights.
Really, Eric, we're talking about the economic driver around the Aberdeen Pheasant Coalition. It is cash-based, and it's on hunter recruitment, basically, right? They're trying to recruit from all over.
When you're taking a look at what they're doing in Brown County and Aberdeen area with the Aberdeen Pheasant Coalition, it's incredible. Because you have people in the community that realize the value that pheasants, for example, bring to South Dakota, what it brings to their communities and what it brings to businesses in that communities. And you finally have people that recognized what needs to be focused on, and it's the habitat. And by utilizing funds from businesses in town to help incentivize landowners to set aside acres, and when they do it, to allow public access to it, it's incredible.
It really is incredible from like that grassroots perspective of saying, okay, well, how can we fix this? Which I think is awesome from a community perspective.
Right.
What are your ideas or thoughts in regards to the pheasant population itself? Like, is a practice like this sustainable? Marketing pheasant hunting in a specific location.
It's incredibly sustainable, but you have to focus on what matters. And what matters are the birds, and to have birds, you gotta have habitat.
The hunting on Johansson's is great, even on bad years. A fantastic example of working with wildlife. Eric has incorporated habitat into the for-profit farm model, often by taking advantage of federal and state conservation easements for seasonal wetlands and native grasses.
We'll kind of focus on this grain sorghum plot that runs along here. It produces a seed that ducks love and pheasants will feed on it. So
Okay, great.
wherever you want to run her,
Yeah.
it's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I greased her up real heavy with the EMT gel, so I think the sorghum, we can fight it. Good girl. Hey. Head! Head! Rooster! Head! Rooster! I don't know why I shot that. Good dog, you found him in there. Uh-oh. That's a tough bird, man. Oh, come on. Find a bird. There he is. Rooster, Luke. That's the one. Oh, hit him again. It's amazing too with the amount of human coverage, how few birds got shot, right?
Yeah, the pros and cons of having really good wetland habitat.
Oh my goodness. A smart bird you'll never see.
South Dakota embraces the social side of pheasant hunting. Party hunting, where your personal bag limit is combined with the bag limits of others in your party, is allowed. This means you can shoot more birds than your daily 3-bird limit, so long as the group total has not been reached.
Let's go hunt him up. Let's go get birds.
But remember, roosters only.
Head! Rooster! Snort! Snort! Right there!
Dead bird, dead bird.
This is where a dog's just absolutely critical.
Good girl. Nice shot.
You a-hole, I had that thing.
I think it's paying off working this a little slower. Sorry there, old buddy.
Keith, come on, let's go work. You're not a house dog yet, go work.
Pretty bird.
It just kind of quickly becomes apparent how South Dakota can recruit so many hunters and still have birds. There's just an endless amount of cover everywhere. And having that habitat around isn't as easy a thing as it sounds, right? Like we're talking about like a lot of the economic drivers behind pheasants, but you have to have a lot of social buy-in too, because as prices rise for certain commodities, it's got to be pretty darn tempting for some of these landowners to switch over prime pheasant ground to prime ag ground. We've been talking with a lot of folks in town. It seems like people are very keyed up about opening weekend.
Somebody told me in the tourism department, $16 million spent on out-of-state hunters throughout pheasant season in Brown County. So from a magnitude standpoint, that might not sound a lot in like downtown Denver, but in 27,000 people in Aberdeen, South Dakota, that's a huge impact.
Can you explain like what businesses do for the Aberdeen Pheasant Coalition?
All the hoteliers in town sit on a board, and we have a $1 per room tax specifically to support missions to bring more visitors to town. Casey and the Pheasants Forever kind of talked through how can we support more conservation side of things and giving back land to the public for public hunting use. So I think we gave $40,000 or $50,000 from our hotel room tax to that specific effort to get that 4,000 or 5,000 acres of private land put back for public hunting use.
What is the significance of having that public land accessible to hunters around Aberdeen for a business owner?
You know, you stay in our hotels, you go to our grocery stores, you go to our restaurants, you're spending that money in our community. If you look up and down Main Street, there's tons of small businesses that need to support day in and day out. This month of extra business is huge for them, and that opportunity doesn't come without, you know, the out-of-state pheasant hunting being supported. So.
Opening weekend is coming to a close, and many pheasant hunters have already gone home. But our group has only 2 birds left to our limit and one last walk.
All right, we're back on the coalition ground. We've seen some serious mix of public and private and habitat and conditions and birds across all of it.
Yeah, this spot especially I think is going to have a good, back in that back corner. There's a cornfield back there, and we'll take that cornfield and go head west with that, and I think that should be the ticket.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Head! Thank you.
I'm here for you, Cal.
Rooster! Yes! That was Snort Bird right there, too. Good girl.
No.
This stuff is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, part of the reason that this area could be like a pheasant capital of the world, right, is because of that mix of private and public opportunity, right? You certainly wouldn't have the amount of birds if it weren't for the agriculture.
We're watching them come into the corn, come out of the corn, just going back and forth.
Right, and then to have a community like Aberdeen where the business people are saying, hey, we're gonna get you some spots so you can go out and hit them like this. They get it. They get it, they understand what's going on, and it's just fun to be a part of it and see it go into action.
I think it's like just a remarkable thing, like such a unique program to have these folks in town be proactive about why the economy of the town turned south and getting involved in a way that wasn't looking for a handout.
Right.
Birds bring hunters, and hunters bring dollars. In order to sustain hunters year after year, you need a lot of birds. In order to have a lot of birds, you need lots of bird habitat. And you need enough of that bird habitat to spread the hunters out so they have a good time and come back again next year. That is pheasantomics, and wild bird pheasantomics would not be sustainable if it weren't for the people who make the habitat and access happen. If you want to see if a Pheasant Coalition model could work in your area, check out pheasantsforever.org.